I'm just going to share sort of the two ways in which Tesco has approached the issue of sustainability, and surprise, I'm going to share some of the ways we've done that that's top down and some of the ways that are bottom up, and then hopefully we can have a bit of discussion about that afterwards. So, starting with our Chief Executive, Sir Terry Leahy, I think it's always a good place to start with the man in charge. But this is the vision that he set out. He led us on the journey that we've been over in the last couple of years. And this is a quote from a recent speech. That our work to deliver sustainable consumption is not some add-on extra. Our aim is to create a mass movement in green consumption, bottom up. Cutting carbon emissions is now locked into our business strategy, top down. So I'm just going to take you through each of those. So this is the top down. So Terry says what's going to happen, and then the business changes to match that vision. So these are two ways in which we communicate. So on the far side here, our strategy. This is what we talk about to the external world as kind of the Tesco corporate vision. So we go and see our investors and things like this. Our strategy is a very important part of how we present our public face. So last year we added a community line to our strategy, and that's the first time we touched our strategy in 10 years. I don't know if any of you have followed the fortunes of Tesco, but in that last decade, we've moved from being the third biggest retailer in the UK to being the third biggest retailer in the world. So we've had a very strong decade of growth, and it felt that to really continue growing, it was very important to bring these wider world values right into the heart of our business strategy. So that's what, when the quote there about locking down emissions into our business strategy, that's how we do it. And the community segment on both these, it's about being fair, responsible and honest, and being a good neighbour. Those are the values that are behind this notion of community for us at Tesco. So that's the external. Internally then, we have something called our steering wheel. And this is literally the tool that guides our business. So this is the series of key performance indicators that we kind of channel our efforts towards. So this was added in 2006 when we introduced our community plan. An internal tool then that set these various goals about how we were going to be a more sustainable and more community-focused business. Now, I can talk for kind of hours about all the different things we're doing on sustainability, and I know I've only got about 8 minutes left. So I just wanted to show the range of areas where we're working on various kind of sustainability issues. And actually, it's probably worth pulling your attention to the far ends of this. So how we're communicating with our suppliers and how we're communicating with our customers, because I think that's two groups where, you know, there's the stuff that we're doing in the middle that's about what we're up to, but then it's how we're communicating with other groups, and I think it's quite interesting. So, I mean, we've done an awful lot of work to cut our own carbon footprint. We measured our carbon footprint, we set targets, long-term stretching targets out to 2020. We communicated those to our business, we communicated those to the press. And then we got to work, and this is where the kind of supplier part gets pulled in. We have an environmental design tool. Every piece of kit that goes into our stores has been put through this tool. So, you know, our suppliers brought us 3 chairs. We worked out what was in each of those chairs, what are the materials, what's its carbon content, how easy can it be recycled, all those different things. And we fed it through our little program. So suppliers now really understand that if they want to put something into a Tesco store, it's got to kind of meet those criteria. So this is in terms of kind of how we build our stores. We have invested a lot of money in doing this work. We've got a £100 million fund that can only be spent on low carbon technologies like wind turbines, combined heat and power plants. We've done a lot of work on energy efficiency. I think we spent £86 million last year just switching to energy efficient kit, fridges, ovens, lighting. I've got an example here. Really, really simple. You know, just sit down and think about what you're doing with your case lights. First thing was to switch them off at night. Even in our 24-hour stores, no need for them to be on all night. Switch them off. Let's switch them to energy-saving light bulbs. Let's get rid of fridges in. So the average house in the UK emits 5.8 tonnes of carbon a year. This single initiative saved 7,200 tonnes of CO2, which equals over 1,000 houses. All the work we did last year on energy efficiency was out of 11,000 houses. I made that slide. There really are about 11,000 houses on that. Okay then, so switching tack then, that was the top down. This was us setting our vision, you know, changing the way we do business, moving to a low carbon economy. How about, you know, the flip side, where we can really have an impact, I think, is how we can show our customers how to lead greener lives. So how can we empower them to do their bit? It's about 30 million people come through Tesco stores each week. We employ 450,000 people around the world. So really high numbers of people that Tesco can reach. And I think you may agree, but I think when companies like supermarkets, especially big ones like Tesco, when we do something, it very quickly becomes normal. I think if Tesco is doing something, then it's pretty standard stuff. And I think that's a great power that we have, being the business that we are, that we can kind of come in and say, well, actually, this is how people behave now. This is the normal behaviour. So some examples, I think, of how we've done it. So when we asked our customers, do you want to lead a greener life? They resoundingly came back and said, yes, that sounds like an interesting proposition. And we said, well, what can we do to help you do that? And then here are the 4 things that came back to us, 4 different areas where they wanted our help. So I'm just going to race through this. So small actions, show me that the little things that I do will add up to making a big difference. Because what's the point of me switching to a new fuel source if people in China and India are burning up burning coal or whatever. Something you hear a lot. I'm sure all of you hear that a lot. So we wanted to show people that every little helps, that the small actions really do make a difference. Our work on carrier bags. We started in 2006 offering people an incentive if they brought their carrier bags back into our shops and reused them. A single club card point, negligible financial value, but just saying to people, this is the behaviour we're seeking. This is what is normal now. This is what Tesco is doing. Reuse your bags. We've now saved, our customers have saved over 2 billion carrier bags. Last month we used 40% fewer bags than we were using in 2006. And for me that is a huge cause for optimism. I think that really shows that you can just gently move people this really is bottom-up action, people making that change for themselves. Information. I think we've touched on this earlier today, but it's very easy to say, I want to lead a greener life. It's very hard to say exactly how. So we've been trying to help educate our customers and give them enough information to make informed choices. So we have a Greener Living website. About 400,000 people have clicked on that since October. And that's a whole, across the whole spectrum of lifestyle, all the different things you can do to be greener. We introduced a carbon label back in April. We're running a trial on that so that when you're buying products you can actually hold up 2 different things and say, well, which of these causes less carbon to be emitted into the atmosphere. Very early days, very small trial, but I think this could really be quite a powerful tool in helping to empower customers. I brought some copies of this leaflet that we've had in store for the last few months. It's how can we shrink our carbon footprint. It just has some hints and tips. Explains climate change, explains what carbon is. We actually get to some quite hard science when you start talking about climate change. So we're really trying to break that down, make that incredibly simple so that anybody can just pick that up and get what it is we're trying to do. Make it easy. I think that's just kind of a big statement and in a sense sums up all of these. 2 minutes, thank you. We have automated recycling machines where you put in a bottle and it works out what the bottle is and moves it to the right bin so you don't have to sort your own recycling. Added bonus is that men and kids love it. Used to be a real woman thing, recycling, but now we've got the boys and the kids on board with that. So that's doubled recycling. Everywhere we put one of those units, it's doubled the amount of recycling that we're collecting. We're doing lots of work on packaging and just communicating back to people, this product has 70% less packaging than the product you used to buy in this range. Introducing a range of green products, actually having a Greener Living brand in our stores, just making it so easy to go up to the counters and say, okay, this has got some additional value beyond price and quality, this has also got some environmental stamp of approval as well. Finally, price. Energy saving light bulbs, we halved the price of those last year and went out with a dual message, save energy, save money, and I know we're going to touch on that with the Atkins CO2 campaign, but a very powerful way of letting people know that there's other benefits of going green as well. And this, for me, was it was an amazing campaign. We quadrupled the number of energy-saving light bulbs we sold last year. And the carbon that will save if our 10 million light bulbs are used for just 2 hours a day is equal to 17,000 houses. So you see, there's the work that Tesco can do as a business, which has a meaningful and significant impact, but there's the staggering work if we can mobilise our customers and really get them making lifestyle changes. So, brief conclusions. Lead by example. We've got to go out there, we've got to show that we're walking the talk before we can expect anybody to listen and take any advice from us on this. It's about empowering individuals, about making it easy, it's about touching the things that are important to them. And, every little helps. Whatever little thing that we can do really does add up to make a big difference. So in whatever area, it's worth trying. And I'm glad that our slogan has paid off for my environmental ends. Okay, thank you.